Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to do a deep dive into something uh, a little bit different.
Different is good, right?
Well, hopefully. We'll see what you all think.
Okay, I like the suspense. I'm ready.
So we're looking at some, well, we're calling them excerpts, but they're really more like core teachings
Oh,
in
okay.
this text. Ignorance, fear, and superstition. The greatest evils, according to the Atlantean Brotherhood.
Interesting title.
Right. And it's by WaXhira.
Who was, just for anyone who doesn't know.
Yeah, good point. WaXhira is or was.
Yeah,
It's hard to say with these groups sometimes.
it really is.
But yeah, as far as we can tell, WaXhira was the founder of the Atlantean Brotherhood.
Okay, so we're getting right into the heart of their belief system then with this.
Exactly. And, it's not your typical good versus evil kind of thing.
Right, because the title itself kind of throws that out the window, like who are the bad guys here?
Exactly. And that's what I think makes this so fascinating. You ready to sort of unpack it together?
Absolutely, let's dive in.
So, the Atlantean Brotherhood, they don't look at evil as like this external force or like some, devil figure.
Okay, so not a Darth Vader's situation. Got it.
Exactly. Instead, they see it as this, well, WaXhira calls it a triad.
A triad, so three components.
Three forces, all interconnected. And they say these are at play within all of us.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Lay it on me. What are the three?
Ignorance, fear, and superstition.
That's pretty heavy. Like, those are some big concepts.
It's definitely not light reading, that's for sure. But I think there's a lot to unpack here. And it all starts with that first one, ignorance.
Okay, so ignorance is like the root of all evil, according to them?
I wouldn't say it's that simple. I mean, WaXhira digs a little deeper. He says it's not just about a lack of knowledge.
There's more to it than just not knowing something.
Right. It's a lack of curiosity, too, he says. And even more than that, it's a closed mind.
So you can know a lot of stuff but still be ignorant in their eyes if you're not open to new ideas.
Exactly. If you're not willing to learn and grow and, challenge your own assumptions.
I mean, think about it in any situation. When someone just refuses to see another point of view,
Ugh, yeah, that's the worst.
it just creates so much misunderstanding. It can lead to prejudice. It builds walls between people.
It really does. And that's something we've all encountered.
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
who hasn't come up against that wall at some point?
Whether it's someone else being closed-minded or even, catching yourself doing it.
All right. I think that's a really important point. Like, we can be guilty of this too. It's not just other people.
It's so easy to fall into, just assuming you've got it all figured out.
Totally. Especially
Oh.
with how much information is out there these days. It's like everyone's an expert.
Exactly. So how do we combat this? Like, how do we break down these walls of ignorance?
Well, the Atlantean Brotherhood talks a lot about knowledge, of course. That's like the first step.
But there's got to be more to it than just, reading a bunch of books.
Oh, yeah, definitely. They emphasize intellectual humility, which is it's kind of a tricky thing to cultivate.
What do they mean by that exactly?
Well, it's the ability to be open to the possibility that you might be wrong. And, even more importantly, being willing to change your mind when presented with new evidence.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that is tough. It's admitting you don't have all the answers.
Which can be hard, you know? Especially when you've got strong beliefs about something.
For sure. So it's not enough to just like watch a documentary and be like, okay, I'm informed now.
Right. It's about being willing to actively challenge those beliefs.
Do they give any practical tips on how to do that?
One thing they recommend is seeking out opposing viewpoints.
Okay, so like if you're super passionate about, I don't know, climate change, you should go read articles by people
I
who...
disagree with you, yeah. And it's not about, trying to win an argument or anything. It's more about understanding where they're coming from.
Exactly. And you might be surprised by what you learn, even if you don't end up agreeing with them. Yeah, I can see how that could help you refine your own thinking.
It forces you to really examine your own biases.
That's a great point. Okay, so we've tackled ignorance. Next up on this evil triad, fear.
Oh, boy. That's a big one.
Right. I mean, we all experience fear. It's a totally natural human emotion.
It's hardwired into us, right? Like, from an evolutionary standpoint, it kept us alive.
Totally. But WaXhira argues that fear can also make us really vulnerable.
Vulnerable to what? Like, danger?
Well, yes, to physical danger, but also to things like manipulation and control.
Oh, okay, I see where you're going with this.
He says fear can literally paralyze us, making us less likely to take action or to stand up for what we believe in.
And historically, that's been used against people, right? Like, think about all the dictators and oppressive regimes.
Exactly. They thrive on fear. They use it to consolidate their power and silence dissent.
It's scary how effective that can be.
It is. And, I mean, this isn't just about, being afraid of the dark or spiders or whatever.
Yeah, we're talking about something much bigger here.
This is about how fear can be used to control entire populations and how we need to be aware of that.
Especially nowadays with how quickly information and misinformation spreads online.
It's easy to get swept up in it all.
Yeah, it really is. Which is why WaXhira's point about fear is so important. We need to be critical thinkers.
We can't just let our emotions, dictate our actions or beliefs.
Absolutely. We have to be able to look at things rationally.
I mean, on a personal level, I know I've let fear hold me back before.
Yeah.
Like, I used to be terrified of public speaking.
Oh, well, I never would have guessed.
It was bad. But, I knew I wanted to do this podcast, so I had to face that fear head on.
Good for you.
It was tough, but I did it. And that kind of ties into what the Atlantean Brotherhood recommends as the antidote to fear.
Okay, I'm all ears. What's the antidote?
They talk about cultivating courage and resilience. So not just the absence of fear, but the ability to face it.
To act despite your fear.
Exactly. And they say this is something that can be learned and practiced like any other skill.
Which is encouraging, right? It means we're not just stuck with whatever level of fear we're born with.
Right. We can train ourselves to be more courageous. Okay, so we've got ignorance as the foundation. Fear is this sort of like paralyzing force.
Right. So where does superstition fit into all this?
So superstition, according to WaXhira, is what you get when you combine ignorance and fear.
Ooh, that's an interesting thought. Like a toxic cocktail of the first two.
Exactly. He says it's the tendency to believe in supernatural causes for things instead of seeking out logical explanations.
So instead of saying, I don't know why that happened, you say, oh, it must be because of insert superstitious belief here.
Right. It's like instead of acknowledging our own lack of knowledge, we just attribute things to some mystical force.
And I guess that can be comforting in a way, right? Because it gives you a sense of control.
Yeah, even if it's a false sense of control. It's like it's easier to blame bad luck than to face the fact that
Sometimes bad things just happen randomly.
Yeah. And WaXhira really emphasizes how this kind of thinking, this superstition, can have some serious negative consequences.
Well, yeah. I mean, historically speaking, superstition has been at the root of a lot of really terrible things.
Exactly. Like think about the Salem witch trials or the persecution of, well, pretty much any minority group throughout history.
It's always easier to blame the other, especially when you don't understand them.
Right. And fear just amplifies all of that. So WaXhira is really pushing for reason, for evidence-based thinking.
But trusting science, for questioning things instead of just blindly believing.
Exactly. And, it's easy to think of superstition as like harmless fun.
Like, don't walk under a ladder or knock on wood.
Right. But those things can actually reflect a deeper tendency towards magical thinking.
Which, taken to the extreme, can have those harmful consequences we were talking about.
So it's important to be mindful of that, even with seemingly harmless superstitions.
It's all about being aware of that slippery slope from a little superstition to potentially harmful beliefs.
Okay, so let's take a step back for a second. We've got ignorance breeding fear, fear fueling superstition.
It's like a vicious cycle.
Exactly. So how do we break out of it?
Well, WaXhira's message is ultimately one of hope. He believes that we can break the cycle, and that it starts with making conscious choices.
Okay, so like choosing what?
Choosing knowledge over ignorance. Choosing courage over fear. Choosing reason over superstition.
That's powerful. So it's not just about passively absorbing information, it's about actively choosing a different path.
Exactly. And that's something that each of us has the power to do.
It's inspiring in a way, right? Because it puts the responsibility on us. It's like we're not helpless victims of this cycle.
Right. We have agency, we can make a difference.
This has been such a fascinating conversation, but it does raise an important question.
Okay, hit me with it.
If these are the greatest evils, according to WaXhira, what are the corresponding goods? Like, what should we be striving for?
That's a great question, and I think it's one that deserves a lot of reflection. Because if the absence of knowledge, courage, and reason creates these evils,
then their presence must represent something really powerful.
exactly, it almost makes you want to flip the script, right? Like, what does a world built on knowledge, courage, and reason look like?
That's a world I want to live in, but it also makes you realize, like, we can't just sit back and wait for that world to happen.
Right. It's a call to action. We each have a responsibility to combat these evils in our own lives and in our communities.
And how do we do that? Like, what are some concrete steps people can take?
Well, I think it starts with self-awareness, recognizing when those forces are at play within us and making a conscious effort to choose a different path.
So being honest with ourselves about our own biases and our own fears.
and then actively working to challenge them.
Okay, so that's a good first step. What else?
I think being open to new information, to new perspectives, is crucial. Not just passively consuming content, but actively engaging with it.
Like we were talking about before, seeking out opposing viewpoints, really trying to understand different sides of an issue.
And also, being willing to speak out against ignorance, fear, and superstition when we see it happening.
Even when it's uncomfortable, even when it's challenging.
Exactly. Because that's how we start to shift the culture, to break down those walls of ignorance and fear.
That's amazing. I think this whole conversation has been so thought-provoking.
Me too. And I hope it's given our listeners a lot to think about as well.
Yeah, I mean, we've covered a lot of ground today, but I think the most important takeaway is this. Be aware of the power of ignorance, fear, and superstition.
Recognize how they can influence your thoughts, your actions, and the world around you.
And then make a conscious choice to embrace knowledge, courage, and reason.
Because those are the forces that will lead us to a brighter future.
That's it for this deep dive, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
And remember, stay curious, stay brave, and stay rational.
See you all next time.